Welcome to another episode of Human Trichotomy. Many blessings to all who listen to us on this channel. As always, Valentina and I, your servant Sebastian, will talk to you today about something that we all find very difficult, and that is trusting ourselves. We have received a video from Spirit Menu where they post a 3-step surrender method. It looks simple, but I think, has some details that we can question to give way to this episode. Valentina, for example, how many times have you wanted something, but fear paralyzed you?
Oof, too many. And the worst thing is that we pretend to be confident. Greetings to all of you who follow us, from podcast to podcast. Blessings from here. I sincerely hope that our messages reach all of you who follow us chapter after chapter, which we write with all the love and emotion so that each one can use what we talk about here as a guide or simply feed your knowledge of those who are looking for. Now, yes, I continue. We always pretend to be confident, but inside we doubt. Today, we are going to break that with the surrender method, which this video offers us. It is a 3-step technique that mixes psychology, philosophy, and even neuroscience. Very complete indeed.
Yes, because confidence isn't just about positive thinking. It's an active process. And to understand that, let's start with step 1, identifying hidden fears.
Here's the awkward part making a list of things we say we want, but actually dread. For example, I want a better job, but the fear of rejection holds us back. Sebastian, why is it so hard for us to admit this?
Because the brain prefers the illusion of control over vulnerability. But there's a phrase here that applies perfectly. What you deny subdues you, and what you can accept will transform you. It even talks about going with the flow rather than forcing things.
Exactly, and neuroscience confirms this, showing that when we name our fears, the amygdala, the fear center, calms down. That's why the simple act of writing them down is already therapeutic.
So once we've identified our fears, let's move on to step 2, which is creating powerful affirmations. But be careful, it's no use repeating, I'm successful, if you don't truly believe it. Valentina, how do we design affirmations that really resonate?
The key is to make them believable and emotional. For example, if you fear failure, instead of saying, I am perfect, use, I learn from every fall and become stronger. Words are like seeds that will germinate in a soil that we all have called the soul. And this is where science proves that our neural networks are modified.
Interesting, because it's not what happens to us, but how we interpret it. Affirmations are new narratives for the brain.
So let's do an exercise. Write a statement in the comments, no matter what kind it is or what value it may have, just one statement. Based on this, we'll begin to focus on it to create other phrases.
Excellent. This way, we're giving rise to a kind of brainstorming session in which we can all intervene and participate. To put this 3-step method into practice, we look forward to your comment.
Now, step 3 is the hardest acting before you feel confident. As Gandhi said, faith is not something you have, it's something you do. That's it, acting with faith, because this is where the magic happens. Sebastian, how did you apply this in your life?
Valentina, when I launched this podcast, I was afraid of ridicule, but I followed the advice of a Zen master who told me walk as if the bridge was already built, and curiously by acting as if confidence came later. Now let's get concrete. Many people stop at step 1, identify, and others get to step 2, fears and affirmations. But step 3 is where 90% fail. Valentina, why do you think it's so hard for us to take action even when we already have clear goals?
Neuroplasticity explains it all. When you repeat an action, the brain creates new pathways. That's why we act without attachment to the outcome. Because our brain is programmed to survive, not to take risks. The comfort zone is a comfortable trap. But here's the brutal scientific fact. When you act as if you already have confidence, your brain activates the emitting neurons to release dopamine and, together with serotonin, the receptors start the party. In other words, the same chemicals that make you feel confident as if you've already achieved it.
It's like hacking your own system. And this isn't just science. In Kabbalah, it's called Itaruta deletata, the awakening from below. When you take the first step, the universe responds. But Valentina, how do you distinguish between acting with faith and being reckless?
Excellent question. Faith isn't jumping into the void without a parachute, it's jumping knowing you can build a parachute during the fall. As Steve Jobs said, you connect the dots by looking backward, not forward. Sebastian, do you have any personal examples of this?
Of course, when I left my stable job to start my own business, I didn't have everything figured out. But I followed the 45% rule because you don't need to feel 100% confident. Just 45% is enough to get started. And interestingly, after a month, I was already at 80% of the results I had as an employee.
That's exactly what I've learned. The right is to the action, never to the result. And neuroscience confirms it. Action precedes motivation, not the other way around.
So here comes today's challenge, the 3-day challenge. Valentina, explain it because this can change lives.
Day 1. Identify a small action that scares you but brings you closer to your goal. I'll give you a hint. Text someone, ask someone out. Day 2. Do it as if you were already the most confident version of yourself. Fake it until you make it. And on day 3, record an audio or video telling what you learned. And if you're brave enough, share it with us. We'll leave a hashtag in the comments.
And because we know this can be scary, we're going to leave you with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique used when you feel doubt. Take a deep breath and count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and act. This way you prevent your brain from sabotaging you.
Remember what Nelson Mandela said, it always seems impossible until it's done. So, are you up for the challenge? Tag us in your stories, and if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs a boost.
Now we want to know, in what area of your life do you need to give of yourself? Love, career, or health? Leave your answers in the comments.
I am truly grateful from the bottom of my heart for all your welcome. We love you from here, from Human Trichotomy. Thank you very much.
If this episode inspired you, please share it with someone who needs to let go. See you on the next Human Trichotomy podcast. Thanks, everyone.